Hi, it's Deanne. And it's so hard to know our purpose in a world that is constantly changing. And we've maybe tried many times with aligning our life to, I know I'll start this kind of business, or I know I'll have these family routines, and then I'll feel like things are right. And you might be feeling really exhausted from that. I find that right now in our society and in the universal energy, any of you who are tapped in are feeling this too. It's like we're in a snow globe and it's been shaken up. And what a great opportunity to say, like, how do I want things to land? Except we have to be careful of our ego mind that says, oh, I know if I get this car, I get this promotion, or if I can, do this routine, then it'll all be okay. We have to quit thinking that we're in charge of the universe and let go of all those attachments. And it's really hard especially when you have unresolved trauma, because I think one of the big coping skills when we have unresolved trauma is to try to control everything. And it gives us this facade that we are safe or worthwhile or everything's going to be okay. So the more that we grip onto that right now, the more actual out of control we're going to feel. And perhaps there's some things out in your society that are going on that you look at that and you go, "Oh my gosh, the big wave is coming, the tsunami, it's going to be horrible. We're all doomed." Can can feel from whatever's going on in your world. And so if we can bring it inward, then you can become unwavering and you can have a sense of peace or love and light within you no matter what's going on in the world. So I am finding that you know, I, I think some of the biggest pushback that I get right now is, but you don't understand my life, or I can't because, and I get it. I have so been in that place, right? In abusive relationships or working three jobs or just feeling in survival mode and demands of life and thinking, other people get that. They have some kind of free pass or they have some opening that I don't have. And I'm here to tell you, we create that. And it used to piss me off when somebody would say that. It's okay, feel that fire inside. But if you could hang on just a few more minutes, I'm going to give you two things that are super important that will help lift the veil to living your purpose and feeling so much more love and freedom in your life. Okay, first one is distress tolerance. Distress tolerance is not a new concept. I first heard about it probably about 15 years ago. It was the term was coined. It doesn't mean the strategy is new. You can YouTube it for free. It's also why I created a course, Finding Calm in the Chaos, because it's such a foundation for lifting the veil, like lifting this fog that we're in. Another way of saying that is, being on the puppet strings of all the distractions, all the mild annoyances, or all the things that we assume, our ego mind says are absolute necessities. If I can get this thing done, or if this person would act this way, or if only the situation were different then. And then we feel so much more powerless. And we don't live our purpose. We feel like that's, further out in the future, or it's for those other people. So, distress tolerance, the short version is just being able to realign our nervous system away from threat, away from fight or flight, and into a regulated state. Because then there is so much more to our life. And how do we do that? It's the timing of it is important. Yes, you could have your list of, okay, I, do a ragdoll dance, or I growl in a pillow at the end of the day, or I rock out to get rid of extra energy. And ideally, you're doing that all throughout your day, just random times, whether you are attuned to your nervous system and you know that there's something there or not, that you get up and you just shake off. And then you kind of notice, like, oh, what's it feel like to be me? Or maybe you do some kind of gentle movement, some yogi or Tai Chi kind of movements, and it helps you tune into your body and what needs to be moved or cared for in there. So distress tolerance, I think of as being a riverbed, that if we have a really narrow channel and the spring melts come, like right now, there's a lot of big movement, a lot of big, letting go of the old system, maybe you've heard it as, or big energy shifts. There's just a lot going on energetically. Astrology, people who follow astrology will tell you too, like there's just so many big changes happening right now. Okay. So the spring melts are coming. And if we have a really wide riverbed, around here, like I think of the White River or the Green River, like so really wide riverbed. Then when the spring melt comes, sure, it might take up some more space or it might change channels a little bit, but it doesn't rip out the trees from the side, meaning it's not so destructive in your life. But if we haven't been practicing in these small ways, then something happens, we get triggered, it starts ripping out the sides, then we feel even worse. And what happens is we stay in the limbic system, or we stay in the basal ganglia, so the anxiety, depression, or the anterior cingulate, the like grudge holder, not be able to shift, the OCD, all these places where then maybe we get tricked by thinking, like, oh, my brain is just this way, or this is just how I am. I'm going to have to get on medication. So um, instead, it's how do I regulate my brain? And yes, we could think about doing that all day long, and hourly would be awesome if for 15 seconds an hour you do something to regulate your system. But it's especially important when you are triggered. So somebody cuts you off in traffic, then that's when you go to your happy place. And I'm using that jargon because maybe most of you have some kind of reference for that, but it's connect to something that matters to you. It could be that you play a favorite song in your head, or you play like a dramatic tune that goes with the incident that just happened, so that it kind of calls you out, that like you're getting sucked into that drama. But it's realigning with like what can you be grateful for? Like, oh, look, blue sky, or smell of fresh mountain air, even though I didn't think I was going to be stuck on this road because there was avalanche uh, repair or whatever. So it's try to reframe it into how can you get over here into something in the light? And to me, my purpose is to, add to world peace. And my mission, the way that I do that is through either helping people with trauma clearing, or like, what are all the veils that we put in the way, right? Not knowing how to do relationships or feel safe in relationship, or how to parent, how to find their worth. Like all those are just different layers. And just think of like different screen, like those sheer curtains that we put on, and then eventually you can't see through them. But inside is that light, is that authentic self, that if we could just live purely from that authentic self out into the world, we'd be this big beacon of light, and we'd have this amazing world to live in. So I want to do my part to help people and myself clear all those veils so that we're here living light, living authenticity. Years ago, I used to hear this phrase, maybe you have to, of, you're either in fear or you're in love. And that too used to piss me off, because I'm like, I keep trying. I want to be in love. I want to align to the positive, but there's all this stuff going on. I have to deal with all these problems first, then I can be there. And right here, I'm telling you, in my 25 years of being on this journey, this is the thing I've learned the most, that when we use distress tolerance, when even the littlest things are happening, then it gives us the opportunity to keep feeding that light, to keep putting our attention on the light. And in that, when we do it in these small digestible chunks, that's what starts to help us feel the potential of like what our heart wants, or what our gut is saying, or what lights us up. And that's how we get closer to living our purpose on a daily basis. There's so much going on in our world right now. This timeline, I still have to, find times to realign more than even just a few years ago. I'm finding that this is just like, I'm just feeling it. It's hard to describe because it's a sensation, but just really feeling that need to continue to realign, realign, realign. Am I grounded right now? Am I feeling my light? Am I feeling gratitude? Am I starting to get sucked into? Am I feeling my attention draw to like, ooh, what's happening over here? Whether that's like, what kind of threat is there out in society, or what are people thinking right now, or what's going to happen because of, these policies are changing. Like, really, none of that matters. What matters is if you keep manifesting light, that affects your ability to then strategize around whatever's happening around here, whether that's setting small boundaries with your family, or asking for a raise at work, or quitting your job, or moving, leaving a relationship, leaving the town you've lived in and starting something all new. When you do it from within, when you do it from that spark that's from within, then there's a peace, there's a knowing, and you can make huge changes in your life, ones that don't seem possible when we're on those puppet strings and we're just engaging in whatever the darkness or drama is. So, quick summary of today. If you want to feel purpose, if you want to feel driven, rather than the old style, the goal setting of these are the things I need to do, the routine I need to follow, pull back and get a bigger picture of you of, okay, what is it ultimately I want? I want to feel peace. I want to feel love, or I want to live my purpose. Okay, then how do I do that? I use distress tolerance on a moment to moment basis so that I can keep moving myself to access that light and love and that inner guidance. And how do I do that? I use something greater than me, whether that's grandma love, like somebody who's passed on, where you can tap into your ancestors, or God or Buddha or star brothers and sisters, or if you don't believe if any of that exists, say, hey, if there's something greater out there, please help me. I want to have the pathway to peace. I'm willing to let go of how I thought I was going to get there, but show me the way. Like, I want to feel the guidance. I want to know that I'm on the right path because I feel a little lift inside, or I feel not on puppet strings to this, but I feel like I'm deciding my moment by moment state of being. And one of the biggest tools I can do that with is distress tolerance. Okay, I hope this has been helpful. Anybody, leave the comments, or feel free to contact me at hearthealing.org directly, and I'd be happy to support you further.